Never been an easier randomizer than this. Azazel to Blue Baby. The stream started like 5 seconds ago. And, well, let's get the predictions started here. How do you do this again? How do streams work? Reroll? Absolutely not! People, when you get a tainted loss to Ubermom run, nobody says reroll. Then you flip the script to go to the other side, and people are like, oh, that's just too easy, reroll it. Nah, man, you open up the table. That's what it's all about. Open up the tables. Now, before we get started here, can I show you something? So I've told you we have like this meal prep that gets delivered to us once a week. I was on one of the last meals this week. Baked salmon, white rice, and broccoli. I want to show you something. I hope you're able to see it. Look at this, okay? Look at this. I actually think the camera's doing it too much justice. That's not like goop. That's just 2 grains of rice, by the way. This broccoli is horrible. Charred, but not in like a good way. The broccoli stem is not even green. It's like pale white. You can look at the interior florets are like they have no rich verdancy to them. It's just like raw. It's just charred and raw. And then I don't even know what to say about the pale stem. That's embarrassing. I love broccoli. There were originally 3 florets of broccoli in this. I ate one even though it looked like crap. And then I said it tastes like crap as well. I just don't know what to say. Okay? I don't know what they did. How can you be a professional kitchen and not cook broccoli? It's the easiest thing in the world. Embarrassing. Anyway, I'll get some next week anyway. Let's get it started here. If you're here for the banter, then you're welcome for that. If you're here for the Isaac, well, get ready. It's the most exciting run you could ever ask for. Azazel the Blue Baby with a 7 win streak. They clearly don't have an air fryer. It's true. Soul of Lazarus, possibly the worst rune that's ever existed in this game. So sad to see NL pick up vaping. It's true. I'm very pro vape. Anytime you hear me talking about vaping over the past like 6 or 7 years, I'm always like super positive about it. I'm always like, you know what? It's look, we're starting off on the wrong foot. I know my demographic data roughly from the analytics. It's a demographic that has a high overlap with people who might be vape enthusiasts, which is totally fine. All I'm going to say is that I do, if you vape, I'm not even saying in a clandestine fashion, but if you vape in such a way that it's a habit and not a personality, I have no problem with you. I just laugh a lot when I'm like outside, especially when I see a guy and he's by himself and he blows a little bit of a cloud. I'm like, you know, whatever. But when I see a guy and he's like with his girlfriend and they're holding hands with one hand and with the other hand he's holding a vape and then like taking hits off it every 10 seconds, I'm like, hey man, it's your night off, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say you can't do it. It's just like, I feel like you gotta live in the moment a little bit more. I really feel like the vibe, if you look in, you know, like, when you look at movies, and you can tell, like, oh, this movie takes place in the 1980s because there's a rich guy, he's wearing a blue dress shirt and suspenders with French cuffs, and he's talking on a cell phone that's like the size of a roof tile, right? Hey, Fire DJ1, thanks for the subscription. Thank you. Or the gifted. I feel like that's what the mid-2010s are going to look like. Midsummer kind of already did this. But I feel like if you see someone hit like a little vape, you're going to be like, oh, this movie takes place in 2017. Okay. No, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. But that's me operating under the assumption that vapes are going to become less popular. And I can't you know, I'm not Nostradamus. I have no idea whether or not that's going to be the case. What movie has someone vaping in it? Midsummer. Midsummer has Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch vape. He vapes all the time in that movie. Excuse me, no Candyman spoilers? The movie's been done for a year and a half, but still has not come out due to the pandemic? No spoilers, please? Director Nia DaCosta? I see you in chat. Congratulations on the release. Knives Out has some vaping as well. Hey, that's it. Yeah, Justin vapes. I'm never gonna knock a vapor, especially like if you use it, if you got into vaping because you used to smoke. It's like a doubtless positive change for you. And I don't want to be one of the, you know, I don't want you to be like, well, if he's gonna make fun of me for vaping and people are like mocking me, I might as well smoke anyway. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's a positive thing for you for sure. Now, do you have to hit it every 15 seconds while you're walking with your significant other, you know, past the Canadian Tire? I don't know, maybe. I try not to let the worst vapors I've ever experienced affect the perception that I have of vapors everywhere, but I did tell you, Kate and I forget where we were going. I've told this story like 100 times, so I'm not going to do the long version. But we were on a flight with some serious, like, trolls in front of us. And, when I say trolls, you're gonna think of teenagers, but they were literally, like, probably 10 to 15 years older than we were. And as soon as we reached cruising altitude, the dude ripped a cloud in his vape. Or with his vape, I should say. And his girlfriend just, like, punched him on the arm and was like, oh my god, stop it! And I was like, you're gonna... First off, it's gross, like it's all recycled air. Secondly, you know, oh wow, you're such a big man, you can't last like a 2-hour flight without taking a hit of some lemon pound cake vapor. And then thirdly, you're gonna get the plane fucking grounded because the smoke alarms are gonna go off or something like that, all because you wanted to just commit a felony as a joke or something. Like, I was just mostly, more than anything else, I was just like, I really wish that the guy's girlfriend had been, like, a little bit more, you know, judgmental, quite frankly. Instead, I felt like she got more attracted to him, and I was like, oh, you guys deserve each other. Perhaps a little judgmental, but I'm joking. I think she should have narked on him. Hey, Circulio, thank you for the gifted subscriptions as well. It is crazy when I think about, like, it's been a long time since I've flown, right? Like, we're almost in flight post-mortem. Of all, I've flown probably, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 times in my life. I haven't had too many insane things happen to me on a flight. But what's funny to me is well, I was gonna say the first flight, but that's not true. The third flight I ever took in my life actually had the craziest one. And I thought it was normal because it was only like one of the first times I'd ever flown. This was when I was en route to South Korea. We drove to Toronto. I had a super early flight, Toronto to Chicago. Then I was gonna go Chicago to Seoul, and, well, Incheon, and then Incheon to Daegu, right? So it's like, it's a long-ass trip. It's crazy. It really, it's coast to coast. You're going from, you know, the west, the coast of Lake Ontario to the coast of the, you know, the Sea of Japan. But anyway, on the flight from TO to Chicago, while we were taxiing out onto the runway, there was a woman in front of me, like maybe 3 or 4 rows in front of me, and she was having a horrible time. She was like visibly distressed. hyperventilating. Like a flight attendant came and like sat. This is before we even took off, right? Which is honestly probably the worst time for your anxiety. But while we're taxiing out, the flight attendant was like sitting with her and being like, "It's gonna be fine, you know. I take these flights like 2 times a day for years." And then we were just about. Oh, that's so good. We were just about to, like, we're moving onto our departure runway, or at least based on my Microsoft Flight Sim, I felt like we were moving onto our departure runway. And then she was like, "I can't do it. Like, I literally can't do it." And she had the... Let's go. She had the flight attendant, like, radio into the pilot or something and be like, "We're gonna have a passenger that, like, is, I don't know about unruly or whatever," but they just decided to go back to the airport and drop her off. And I remember, because this is only the 3rd time I've ever taken a flight at this point in my life, right? And I was like, oh, it must happen all the time. I bet this is just like par for the course. And then it's never happened since. But it also, like, it messes you up, like, when you're on the plane. I wasn't even, like... I guess I was a little plane anxious still at, like, that point in my life. Like... But it just, you know... It makes you think, like... I obviously don't want the plane to crash to begin with. But I really don't want it to crash... after somebody got off of the plane because they were afraid it's gonna crash. Because not only am I dead after that, but it also means while I was alive, I wasn't even the main character. Unless I get transported maybe to like some island that represents purgatory or whatever. But like if they have a premonition that the plane's gonna go down and then it goes down and I die in the crash, then the whole world is just a simulation basically designed for her, which is messed up. It would be like dying 2 times. I'm trying to think of the other insane stuff that's happened to me on a flight, but there really isn't much, you know? I think I was on a flight once where they had to ask if there was a doctor, but I think that it wasn't like a heart attack sort of thing. It was just like, you know, maybe a level of medical distress that warranted a professional's opinion, but did not require us to land immediately or something like that. That's about it. I don't think I've had any other crazy flight stuff. Yeah, I bet there's, like, if you're a flight attendant right now, I bet you're getting all sorts of stories. Like, it's really gonna be it's gonna be an anecdote-rich, if you want to look at the positivity, it's gonna be an anecdote-rich time, between people, refusing to mask to board a plane, if they introduce, like, vaccine requirements, people refusing to, you know, show their vaccine identification and stuff like that. Like, you know, let's dedicate this run right now to the flight attendants out there trying to keep people safe. You know, 30,000 feet up there. This one goes out to the flight attendants. This Isaac run is dedicated. Screw you, man. Not to the flight attendants. It's a very noble career. But I'm sad we lost perfection. But I will say, now that I've been nice to the flight attendants, I have one thing to ask in exchange for that niceness. Which is how you know you're a good person. Stop asking me to take my headphones out during takeoff. I get it, like the FAA wants everybody to be paying 100% attention during takeoff. But if something goes down, I promise you, I'm gonna be useless, for one. I'm only gonna look out for number 1. And I can still hear the announcements because they're at, like, you know, 200 decibels, and it only takes a second. It only takes a second to go like that. Up dudes to the left? Up dudes, really? Okay. Nothing annoys me on Reddit more than seeing, you know, a very common sense post that has like 100 upvotes, and then it has an edit that's like, why all the downvotes? That pisses me off more than like almost anything else on planet Earth. This, so much this. Why did this person get so many downvotes? I mean, it's literally the highest rated comment in the thread, but it was at -1 when I saw it? What the heck? So much this. Conjoined? Dude, this run, it's just John Mayer. It's waiting on the world to change. We're so close to greatness. We just need like one more item. Preferably something that... Well, actually, you know what? We have 4.5 volt and sulfur. That's pretty good. Hey, guys. This. So you might hear the baby crying a little bit. It's just, you know, it's just life. Hey, health up. Would you look at that? Range down. Not a fair trade. What is this emote? Bat chest? Can somebody explain what bat, capital B, bat chest is? Is this a new global emote? I don't think I've ever seen this before. Oh, this is the soy face emote. Come on, you could do a better soy face than that. Just literally look at like any one of my thumbnails. Man, imagine... Honestly, great shot. Imagine you finally get like your Twitch global emote. It's the happiest day of your life. And then, like, 14-year-old kids online just use it to insinuate that, like, other people have low testosterone. What a sad story. It's the ultimate example of, like, I guess be careful what you wish for. Sad, man. Hey, Dermot the Freg. Thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Hey, thank you. Yeah. I encourage you not to get worried about being called a Soy Jack. I get called Soy Jack now and then. You know, I literally, like, have sired a child. And, like, 12-year-old kids on 4chan will be like, low testosterone. When I turn 32, my whole life is gonna be smoking cigars and pumping my paycheck into Genshin Impact. Okay, look at this. We're 2 away from conjoined, 1 away from Beelzebub, maybe. We have a love-hate relationship with the image boards. Sometimes I love that they hate me, sometimes I hate that they love me. It depends who's online at any given moment. I choose to operate on the Henry Winkler from the Waterboy principle, which is what Mama don't know won't hurt her. And leave those boards to the board. I myself, I'll be pursuing many invigorating and worthwhile hobbies, such as taking the baby for a walk. Tinted rock? Oh, yeah, literally like the only rock in the room, huh? You know, so many people thought that the tweet that I made with the baby, which I deliberately, like, structured it properly, or at least with a considered eye. So many people thought that what I was insinuating was that I was going to roll the baby down the hill into the crates. This is so good. In order to try to, like, do baby bowling and knock the crates over. I thought so too because of how it was cropped. It was not cropped though. That was how it was structured. What is the meaning? The meaning is that it's the milk crate challenge, literally, like, that's been popping off on the internet this week. This is how, like, people tell me, like, oh, you're so, like, out of the loop on memes. Like, this is the hot meme of the week, and people were like, I've never even heard of it. I'm realizing that I've been gaslit for so long. I'm actually, like, right on the cutting edge. Sure, let's do it. I still don't know what it is. You try to... There's like a stack of milk crates, right? Set up like an ascending then descending staircase. Like it's almost... It resembles a bell curve. So the first layer is 1 milk crate. The second layer is 2 milk crates stacked on top of each other. The third layer is 3 milk crates stacked on top of each other. So on and so forth. And it goes up to like, I think, 6 or 7 milk crates high. So the first time, you know, the first step, you're just stepping on a milk crate. The second time, you're like, ooh. The third one is like, ooh. And then when you get up to like, you know, 6 high, people are like, you know, it's like they're in an earthquake when they're up there. So many of them, like the first couple that I saw were people like just doing it basically no problem. Possibly while also rolling an illicit substance with their hands. And then I started to see like compilations of people getting like 4 milk crates up and they just have no balance and all the crates like just go flying and then they land on the corner of one with like their lung and they get up going like it's really good content. And I have been told that someone in chat said TikTok banned the milk crate challenge. That's bullshit, man. No one's allowed to have any fun. I haven't seen the ones where people kick the crate down mid-run. That sounds pretty funny, though. I mean, as long as, well, I was gonna say as long as people are like, you know, on the same page. I don't know, I watch Jackass. I'm not gonna be like, you know, oh, watching people, you know, do something that could hurt them and then getting hurt is not entertaining. It's kind of like, it's one of the most entertaining genres of comedy, in my opinion. Real life slapstick. Friend Finder's pretty good, but it's also annoying. So, see ya. If you hate the genre, that's fine. No one's forcing you to watch Jackass 3.5. I like your genre pronunciation. That's just how it's pronounced. I learned from the best. Alex Trebek. I prefer Ow My Balls. I mean, no joke, for all this stuff in Idiocracy that is like, you know, dystopia, I guess. Dystopian. Ow My Balls would be a show I would 100% watch. I would absolutely watch. I mean, if Netflix had Ow My Balls, you're telling me you wouldn't at least check it out? Versus like, hey, it's a bunch of people baking cakes again. Hey, it's a bunch of people baking cakes. Hey, these cakes look like things. Hey, these cakes are made by people who don't know how to bake. They look like garbage, you know? Ooh. Australian real estate agents destroying the property market in Melbourne. But look at that. Wow, blackout curtains. I never thought of that. I should have gotten that. You know, Ow My Balls would slap, man. I would be all about Ow My Balls. And I think it would be less damaging, like, as a society, than Tiny House Nation. Milk crate challenge is lit? That's what I'm saying, man. We take? Yes, yes. I'm actually, like, a little while ago, I was, like, possibly thinking about canceling Netflix. Now, I would say, we've removed one layer of abstraction. I'm actually considering canceling Netflix. Not like from the Zoomer standpoint. I mean, ending my subscription. And it's not for any content decisions, except for the fact that I really feel like it's just low quality. Like, for like 6 months, I've been like, it's low quality. Do your thing, Twitter. Like, I'm getting into, like, you know, real boomer hours where every time I, like, look at my credit card receipt, I'm like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? What the heck is this? And I'm like, I don't need to be subscribed to, you know, 15 different subscription services. Netflix in particular, I'm like, I just don't watch. I started watching like a little Impractical Jokers, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's reasonably humorous, but am I really paying? Well, Kate, it's under Kate's name, but am I really paying like, you know, 17 Canadian a month to watch Impractical Jokers? Reasonably humorous tricksters? Yeah, we take the Polaroid. Thank you for the reminder. That was not smart. I got lost in the sauce. Just use it the one time a year. Subscribe for the 1 month a year you want to watch stuff. Honestly, though, like, I think that's where I'm at. Like, apart from I Think You Should Leave, which is, like, literally 90 minutes long. Maybe even a little bit less. I'm trying to think of, like, the last thing I watched on Netflix where I was like, this is superior to what I could be watching on, like, another station right now, or another service. And I'm like, it's been a while, man. Go ahead, like, insult me. But I'm like, the last thing that I really watched on Netflix, and I was like, this owns, was actually, like, Tiger King. Dark was really good. Okay, Dark was really good. I'll give you that. The Witcher, I'm just gonna be honest, I watched like 2 episodes of the first season of The Witcher and it just irritated me. I thought about watching the animated one though, that looked like a little bit, I get that it's like a one-off, but obviously we'll take this. That's true. I mean, here you're gonna laugh, because like, can you imagine being in the position where you talk about canceling Netflix, but you're still keeping cable? But I kind of don't need Netflix for Better Call Saul when I have AMC legitimately. Which is a really great network if you want to watch The Karate Kid 2 6 times a year. Why cable? Okay, so here we go. Why do I have cable? Because I like sports. You know, I like when hockey season starts. And then you're going to say, hey, NL, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I was born in 2002 and have no concept of, like, growing up in the Napster era. Are you aware that there's, like, websites that you can go to that will, like, you could just stream it, like, for free or whatever? Are you aware that you could just, like, you know, break the law, etc., etc.? I am... Yes, you know, I think the consequences for it are probably relatively low, but I'm not trying to, like, get an email from my ISP that's like, hey, we're gonna, like, subpoena you or whatever, you owe us $700,000 for watching the Canucks lose 6-0 to the Minnesota Wild. Or go to those websites and, you know, have them install, like, a keylogger just so that I can... Actually, can I tell you something? I feel like it's worth paying for cable just to not have to read the chat on the illicit sports websites. You step in there for like 1 second and people are like, you know what would be really good for the world? And then they say the most reprehensible stuff you could possibly think of, and you're like, man, I'm just here intellectually speaking, working on a story for Vice, not watching anything. Like, what are you doing? I think it's the worst live chat on the internet. I don't disagree. Also, we got like free cable for a year when we moved in. We actually did like, so that was almost a year ago now. But we also like, we pared it down. After the year was over, we basically like audited our channel usage, and we're like, we don't need this. So it's not that expensive. But there's still like, I mean, when I open up my, not the TV guide, because I'm old, but I'm not that old, right? Though I have read some TV guides in my life, not as an adult. But I basically just, there's like 5 locations I go to, and then if nothing's on, I just turn off the TV. I always start at like 100, which is the CBC cluster. Sometimes they'll have sports, sometimes they'll have the news. I don't really care to see anything. Oh, sometimes they'll have, I don't mind watching a little CBC Marketplace, because I feel like it's very me-style content. They're like, we tested 17 different types of lunch meat from the grocery store to determine which one has the most nitrogen in it. And I was like, damn, dude, I'm ready. But usually there's nothing on there, or it's like the afternoon, and they're either playing an episode of The Simpsons from the 2010s, which is essentially some kind of psychic torture, or alternatively, it's like British soap operas like EastEnders that I just have absolutely no interest in whatsoever. Then I hit 300. Take me down here. 300 is like, it's a vestige. That's from my reality TV era. That's where you end up with your TLCs. That's where you end up with your A&Es and your, hey, like hey, about some garbage at a flea market, now I'm gonna add a coat of paint, and look at that, it's $5,000 right there. Source, dude, just trust me. And usually, lately I haven't found anything to watch there. Then I go to 400, and 400 is really, that's like the meat and potatoes. That's HBO and Crave. So there's like 6 movie channels, a couple of HBOs, and then, you know, you get to look and see, hey, is there anything interesting here? So that's oftentimes you'll find like a good documentary or something like that. The problem is that, again, I think due to like CanCon laws where they have to play like a certain amount of Canadian content, they also play a staggering amount of like very low budget Canadian short films. And I don't mean to be like, you know, betraying my countrymen, but they're oftentimes just at a lower standard than you would expect from HBO. Like, I don't mind watching a thought-provoking short film, don't get me wrong, but it's usually like a borderline student film about trying to, like, you know, open a gas station in Saskatchewan, just for an example. But usually that's where I get the most stuff. And then, you know, in the hockey season, you go to like you know, you go to your 900s. That's where you got your TSNs and your Sportsnets, and you can find some stuff there. That's about it, though. Sip's literally crying right now. No, Sips watches the documentaries. He's got a great taste in media, or a taste in media similar to my own, I think. I just can't watch, like, TLC just got to be too much for me. I still think 90 Day Fiancé is, like, accidentally the funniest show that's ever existed. The fact that some of these people exist on planet Earth is just insane to me. However, I realized that over the course of, like, a 2-hour-long 90 Day Fiancé episode, there's literally like an hour and 10 minutes of ads. Like, it's got so many ads that it's actually like, I can't watch it. Okay. Just keep it going. We don't have to, yeah, we're just chilling on this ride. I kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit, but We're doing just fine. We're just going to Blue Baby. Normally, we might consider 9 lives, but we gotta do something nice for the believers. We're a steward of their money right now. We have to allow the believers the best chance possible. So anyway, that's where I'm at with, like, TV. It kind of sucks. I think I also reached, like, a certain level of, like, a realization that it really doesn't matter what I'm putting on to watch 95% of the time. I'm just looking for, like, it's so stupid. I just look for the perfect thing to watch while I don't pay attention to it. Like, spend half an hour finding, like, the right thing to put on while I make my thumbnails, and then if, like, I'll watch it for 15 minutes, and then if you asked me what happened, I would be like, I don't know, it just kind of, like, faded into the din while I was going like this. And then doing print screens, right? So, like, what does it matter if I'm, like, if I got the coolest new show on Netflix? I could literally just put on a movie I've seen, like, 50,000 times on Amazon Prime, and, like... It's funny, that's the reason I watch your show. I know, I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like, I have no problem being background noise. It actually is uncomfortable for me, the idea that, like, someone would be out there watching every second of every stream with, like, rapt attention. It's a little flattering, but it's also a little bit like, come on. Just put me on and, like, I'll entertain you, you know, on the AirPods while you, like, vacuum your house or something like that. Like, dudes, Alt tab, go someplace else, I'll still be here in the background. I'm trying to bring the heat. I'm trying to keep some conversational momentum going, but I also understand you guys stuff to do. Man, this run is like, is so good, but so much of the goodness is just being Azazel. I feel like we kind of tapped out on power a little while ago. Picture-in-picture demon. I'm fine with that. I downloaded a folder of 50 Isaac episodes for offline play at the gym. I totally get it. Like, again, you're talking... No one will ever give me the props I deserve for this one. I'm not necessarily saying that I was the first person on Earth to listen to audiobooks at their office job, but I genuinely think I was the first person I knew. I feel like I might have popularized it. This is like pre-even Audible's existence, you know, 2007, you'd like buy an audiobook, load it onto my crappy like Sanyo 3 gigabyte MP3 player and just listen to audiobooks like all day at work. I was a big, I was an early double lust, huh? I was a big early adopter of finding ways to distract yourself to get through the workday from an audiobook standpoint. So I totally relate and I take no offense. In 2007, I was a teenager who didn't have a job. Well, in 2007, I was a teenager who did have a job. It's funny looking at, so, like, Bear's wife on Twitter today posted, like, their prom photos and said, like, class of 2008. It's funny how you anchor to time periods. Because 2008 means they graduated from high school 13 years ago. That's a pretty long time ago, you know? But also, for me, because I graduated in the class of 2006, I'm like, wow, you're like a little baby. dumb little baby. 2008? Oh my god. Oh, you stopped breastfeeding yet? You go to the bathroom on your own? And I'm like, actually, they're like 2 years younger than me. This is pretty much the same age at this point. Old man here, class of 2000. Alright, that is... Class of 2000. It's funny because when I think about that, class of 2000, you were born 1982, roughly. That seems old, because you graduated from high school 6 years before me. However, you're born 82, I'm born 88, we're the same age. We weren't for a long time. But very recently, we've become the same age. 38, 32, same age. 28, 22, marked difference. Very marked difference. And then, I mean, 8 and 2, I mean, come on, that's not even, they got nothing to talk about, they got nothing in common. Except that they both crapped their pants within the last decade. Okay, slash marker, Casino 1.